ABC 24 News starts right now with breaking news.
Some breaking news for you right now. Thousands of people in Mississippi are in their second full day without power during this bitter cold. That's after the deadly winter storm. Reeves is giving an update right now. Let's listen in.
The good news is that the precipitation has completely moved out of our state. The less than good news is that the temperature lows remain down below 10 degrees throughout our state, and the highs tend to be below 30 degrees throughout our state. And so much of the ice accumulation that occurred and transpired from Friday night through Saturday and through yesterday, much of that ice is still creating significant challenges for emergency personnel and for the Department of Transportation. We'll address each of that as we progress forward. Earlier today, I signed an executive order, and we will deploy the Mississippi National Guard over the next 12 to 24 hours. This is something that General Ginn will talk about, but he and his team started planning for this as early as the first part of last week, so they have been prepared for this. We will deploy at least initially up to 500 members of the Mississippi National Guard with the expectation that it is possible that those numbers will go up. We obviously are going to deploy them when it is safe to do so in various communities, and want to make sure that they are prepared to do that. While I'm talking about the Mississippi National Guard and them being engaged to work with our state emergency management team as well as our local emergency managers, let me remind everyone, particularly to those who have the cell phone numbers of the top leadership at the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency or at the governor's office or even myself, that there has to be a chain of command in this storm recovery. There has to be a chain of command in every storm recovery. And the best way for local officials to get what they need is to work with their local emergency managers at the city and or county level to make sure that they are utilizing the system to request whatever their needs may be. As you may know, there are currently 48 counties that have damage reports, and of those 48 counties, as we mentioned yesterday, at least 37 of them either have had or continue to have ice on them. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of logistics that has to take place as we try to respond to each and every challenge. And the best way for you to get whatever you might need quickly is to do so by asking for it through the proper channels, and that is through your county emergency management director. The people here at MEMA can respond and get the assets where they need to be most quickly when that particular chain of command is followed. In terms of official damage reports, today was the first day where we really started to receive assessments from around the state. We have 14 major damage assessments on individual residential property, 3 minor damage on individual residential property. We have 1 major damage assessment damage report filed for a business, and we have approximately 20 assessments done for public roads major damage. The Department of Transportation will be reviewing that, obviously, as they are out and about. In terms of shelters and or warming centers, we currently have 61 shelters and warming centers located all throughout the state of Mississippi. Those 61 warming centers are located in 30 different counties throughout the state. In addition to that, we have web EOC requests. Again, that's the actual system that I was talking about earlier, where the various needs need to be input. We have 33 counties that have made a total of 136 requests. Our team at MEMA is analyzing each and every one of those, and we want to make sure that we prioritize them and we get unmet needs met as quickly as possible. I mentioned yesterday, and I will say again with respect to the federal government, again, as a reminder, all of these recovery efforts have to be state-managed, locally executed, and federally supported. I spoke earlier today with the Secretary of Homeland Security. She offered whatever we need. We have FEMA assets on the ground. We appreciate that. We are working closely with them as we have in the numerous disasters that have occurred during my administration, and we will continue to do so. The requests that we have made to our federal partners include, as I mentioned yesterday, up to 36 generators were requested yesterday. We have 30 of those that are either situated in our state today or will be situated by close of business. We have requested and will receive an additional 30 generators such that we will have as many as 60 hopefully by the close of business today already received. We have also stored water, MRE, cots, blankets, and tarps from our federal partners, and we are receiving those as it is safe to do so. We have and are utilizing Camp McCain for the logistics. We have already housed a number of federal personnel as well as linemen there at Camp McCain, and as we call in more and more National Guardsmen, we will utilize that facility as well. We have already actually had a mission assignment entered into by the Department of Public Safety in Bolivar County that we have sent additional personnel from DPS to Bolivar County, and that mission has actually been completed. As we look to the future, we know that we have a lot of work ahead of us. I said this yesterday that I was afraid that it was going to get worse before it gets better. That was true yesterday. And with the temperatures getting to where they're going to get tonight, particularly in the north part of the state, that may still be true today. Not only that, we do expect that temperatures should get above freezing in most of the state tomorrow with sunny skies. But I can tell you that just because the temperature is a few degrees above freezing with sun doesn't necessarily mean that all the ice is going to be gone immediately. It's going to take a little time, but we do see a window of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of potential to get a lot of resources out to the counties. But we also have challenges in that it appears at this time there may be another front coming in to the state sometime around the weekend with very low and frigid temperatures, and we will be dealing with that as well. So again, we've got a lot going on where we're doing a lot of work here. We're sourcing a lot of potential things for each individual county that has requested it, and we will continue to do so. At this time, I'm going to ask the Executive Director of the Mississippi Department of Transportation, Brad White, to give us a brief update on road and what's going on with his group. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Governor. Our challenge continues to be ice and trees, and then trees that have power lines entangled in them. The MDOT teams are working with some power companies to utilize a systematic approach at addressing this. As the governor said, it looks like we're going to have about a 3-day window where weather will be cooperative and hopefully will be our best friend in trying to get out. As we said, the best thing for treating ice is sun and above freezing temperatures. But we are mobilizing crews now from our central Mississippi and south Mississippi areas, sending them into the northern part of the state and into the Delta to help offer support to the crews that have been working there. I do think it's important to remind people that today was day one after this event. As we move into the next few days, to give you an idea of what we're facing, in the affected area, the Delta, North Mississippi, we're looking at just with the state transportation alone. This is not counting city streets, not counting county roads, but in the state transportation system alone, over 15,000 lane miles throughout the area that were being impacted. In that same area, you're looking at over 3,000 bridges that we've been treating and that we've been trying to keep from freezing over. Over the weekend, with a crew of about 500 maintenance workers, we've logged over 20,000 man-hours. We've provided over 200,000 gallons of brine, over 1,000 tons of salt. We'll be adding another 150 employees to that in the coming days. This has been the biggest pre-treatment and treatment efforts that the department has ever done for a storm of this size. And I think it's also important to note that winter weather such as this that we've seen in some areas of the state is not the normal situation for Mississippi. But hopefully over the course of the next 3 days, Mother Nature will cooperate with us. We'll be able to work with the power companies and begin cutting through some of the areas now that remain to be closed. Our goal has been to keep the interstates, the 4-lane highways, the major 2-lane highways with commercial traffic and others passable. And I point out that word passable. That's a lot different from saying it's safe. I think it's still very important for the people that live in these affected areas to recognize that the best thing they can do is, if at all possible, to stay home unless travel is just a must, because the roads are still in a dangerous place until we can get the weather and the resources deployed to try to open that up. But that gives you a report, Governor, for where we are right now.
Thank you, Brad. At this time, I'm going to call on Mac McCraney, head of the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, to give you an update from this particular place where we find ourselves.
Thank you, Governor. Just want to let you know that MEMA is still coordinating with all 82 counties in the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, which are in 13, 14 counties themselves. So that is the process. Every time we practice or we train, there is Web EOC. That is how we get requests in from the locals. And then when they ask, we need 3 generators. Okay, well, now we've got to come back and ask if it's not, is it a 110, is it a 240, 440? Triple phase, single phase. So those are the things that we're actually verifying. The National Guard as well has got some teams that are going to be accompanying us to be able to actually dive down and say, what is it you really need at this point? We know the wants. We know we need to get things back online. We're working with the power companies. This is some things that we do. Every single entity, every state agency, every asset that comes into the state, they coordinate with the State Emergency Operations Center, where we happen to be having this speech right now. So to be able to get those things in, we work it from this level. When somebody asks for a generator, the first thing to do is call the power company. How much longer till you can get this back online? If it's quicker, then I can drive up there or take a generator up there to them. The Adjutant General was able to let us use Camp McCain, which puts us further a location into the state. So it's going to make our response time even slower with some of those things that we've got to get out to the public and get to those local entities. So as of right now, we're going through our call list each and every day, every impacted county, those emergency managers, tell us what you need, tell us what you don't have, tell what's been solved, and we're working through each and every one of those at this time. And that is the most important thing that we do at that local level where the impact is. Today, I think I was driving back from Copiah County. It was 28 degrees. The sun was shining, but I know there was ice if I went north of 55 and I started hitting Madison and those other counties up there. So please stay off the roads if you can. Let the emergency personnel do their job. Let the linemen do their job. Because they don't need the traffic on the roads that are already dangerous for them. That is some of the biggest issues that we have is people are sightseeing. Sightsee from your front door. Don't drive around a county, because then we're dealing with another accident, another call for service. The local responders, fuel is one of those things we're trying to put fuel in each and every vehicle out there. That's a public safety need, and getting those up there. The National Guard is going to be able to bring on some of those assets as our private vendors were able to do. So that's the update this time, and I'll be ready for any questions at the end.
Thank you, Mac, and I will turn it over to General Ginn, the Adjutant General of the Mississippi National Guard. As I mentioned earlier, he has been planning for the potential for deployment for almost a week now, and I did sign the executive order just a little while ago for him to now deploy assets. So, General Ginn.
Thank you, Governor. Like the Governor said, we started planning about a week ago with all of our units out there, and we're prepared now to go ahead and mobilize about 500 servicemen and women tomorrow. We'll bring them into their armories, we'll rally them, and kick them out. We're mostly going to be FSCs, which is forward support companies, which have a lot of logistical capability within those units. Also, we'll have some aviation units as well. We'll probably stage them out of Camp McCain and probably out of Tupelo, Mississippi as well. Again, from debris cleanup to traffic control, we're going to build this task force, and without a doubt, we'll get everybody headed toward our Tactical Operations Center, which will be based out of Camp McCain, and then from there we'll kick out to some of the different armories within Mississippi, no doubt Tupelo, Oxford, that area, maybe even the Corinth Armory as well. So anyway, I foresee us getting on the road by tomorrow afternoon and being fully mission capable, fully operational by Wednesday morning. So pending any questions, that's all I have, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, General, again. Again, I said this yesterday. I'm just going to reiterate it today. Ice storms are different than virtually any other type of storm that we deal with. And it's particularly different when you see the ice come in and then 48 hours or so after the precipitation leaves, the temperature has still not gotten above freezing, and therefore it creates challenges in terms of getting assets deployed. And that's where we find ourselves today, is we are trying to make sure that we can time this to get resources wherever they are needed as quickly as is humanly possible, but to do it in a safe way so that we don't put more Mississippians in danger. So, again, we've got a team that has been working on that now for the last 4 to 5 days, and will be continuously prepared to make progress with respect to that. So again, I'll conclude by simply saying thank you to all of y'all who are working around the clock, our local officials, our state officials, our emergency first responders, and we will get through this, but we're not going to get through it today, and we're not going to get through it tomorrow. This is going to take time, and particularly where there are power outages. We have seen the severity of this storm. Most of us have seen the size of this storm and how many different states across the country have been affected by it. I believe the President signed an initial disaster declaration that included about 12 to 14 states. I believe there were 30 states potentially impacted. And just to put things in perspective for you, there is currently 750,000 homes across the country without power. Over 1 in 5 of them, over 20%, are here in Mississippi. We reached a peak of about 180,000. That has now down below 150,000, but it's somewhat like whack-a-mole. Every time one of the utility companies and power companies gets a large group back online, we have another tree fall, or we have another limb fall, or we have another power outage. And so we've seen a lot of that over the last 24 to 48 hours. It doesn't mean that people aren't working and working very hard and doing it in a safe way. It's just a challenging environment out there. So, again, it is. I'm not going to stand up here and ask anybody for patience because I don't blame you to not have patience, particularly if you don't have power right now. I'm just telling you it is going to take some time to get all of the power restored and to get the roads clean. And it's just going to take more time than any of us would like for it to. It's just this is the fact of where we find ourselves. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
All right, you have been watching Governor Tate Reeves and other state officials give an update on the power situation and the ice storm in Mississippi. A couple of key notes before we let you go. He did say that he signed an executive order, and it'll have Mississippi's National Guard, 500 members will then be on the ground as soon as it's safe for them to do so to help. A couple of other things. There have been 500 workers on the roads in Mississippi trying to clear the roads. They've logged over 20,000 man hours while they try to clear those roads and streets for you. We'll have much more on this coming up at 5 o'clock on our ABC 24 News at 5. For now, though, thank you for watching.